Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Akanksha and in today's video we'll practice important MCQs from Unit 2. Unit 1 की MCQs मैंने पहले करवा रखी है जो मेरे चैनल पे है, आप उसे देख सकते हो, प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हो. So we begin. Who wrote the monumental prose work, The Anatomy of Melancholy? And the answer is Robert Burton. This work published in 1621 and it is a vast scholarly and encyclopedic work analyzing the nature and causes of melancholy. The second question is, in Absalom and Achitophel, the character of David represents which historical figure? And the answer is King Charles II. And you all know this work's written by John Dryden. And it is a brilliant political satire where King Charles II is allegorically represented by King David. The third question is, are two shoals therefore which are one? Though I must go, endure not yet a breach but an expansion. These famous lines are from John Dryden's poem, A Valediction Forbidden Mourning. As you all know, John Dryden was a metaphysical poet and he is famous for metaphysical conceits. And this poem is famous for its compass conceit, emphasizing the spirit union of lovers, even when physically separated. Question number 4, and this question is also from metaphysical poets. Andrew Marvell's To His Coy Mistress is a classic example of which literary mode? And the answer is Carpe Diem. And the Carpe Diem's English meaning is seize the day. A central theme in Marvell's poem where the speaker urges his mistress to enjoy their youth. Fifth question is, which book of Milton's Paradise Lost is usually prescribed in the syllabus? As you all know, the answer is Book 1. Book 1 of Paradise Lost is foundational setting the scene in hell and introducing Satan's revolt. And you all know this work is about God and good and evil, and the main character is Adam and Eve, created by God. The sixth question is, who wrote the religious allegory The Pilgrim's Progress? And the answer is John Bunyan. And this work published in 1678 and it is a landmark religious allegory written by John Bunyan. And we all know the main character is Christian. In Alexander's Pope, The Rape of the lock of hair is stolen from? And the answer is Belinda. Who steals the lock of hair? The Baron steals the lock of hair from Belinda, serving as the inciting conflict for the mock epic. Question number 8. Which of these is not considered a metaphysical poet? And the answer is Alexander Pope, because Alexander Pope belongs to Augustan age. And Alexander Pope is a leading neoclassical Augustan poet, unlike the metaphysical poets Donne, Marvell, Herbert, Richard Crashaw, Thomas Carew, Henry Vaughan, John Cleveland, and many more. The next question is, which of the following is a prose work by John Milton? And the answer is Areopagitica. Areopagitica is a work about the press, famous tract advocating for freedom of the press and against censorship. Question number 10. And death shall be no more, death thou shalt die. This line is from? The answer is John Donne. These are the concluding lines of John Donne's Holy Sonnet 10 titled Death Be Not Proud. And you all know, in this poem, John Donne challenged the death. The age of French influence is a phrase often used to describe which period? And we all know the answer is the Restoration period. The Restoration period was heavily influenced by French culture, manners, and literature, owing to Charles II's exile in France. Question number 12. What is the central philosophical focus of John Donne's The Ecstasy? And we all know John Donne is famous for metaphysical conceits, and the answer is the union of souls. The ecstasy describes the union of souls as the primary goal of love, while acknowledging the body as the necessary medium. Question number 13. In the Pilgrim's Progress, the main character is named, and we discussed earlier. The answer is Christian. The story follows Christian on his journey from the city of destruction to the celestial city. Question number 14. Pope's The Rape of the Lock is written in which verse form? And we all know Pope is famous for his heroic couplets. Pope is renowned for mastering the heroic couplet, rhymed iambic pentameter, which defines the mock epic style. And we all know the heroic couplet is famous by Geoffrey Chaucer. Let us roll all our strength and all our sweetness up into one ball. This line is from, and we all know the answer is To His Coy Mistress by Andrew Marvell. The imagery represents the speaker's urgency in Marvell's famous poem, and we all know he also discussed about vegetable love. It grows slowly. Question number 16. The period between the death of James I and the Restoration is characterized by. The answer is Puritan influence. The rise of Puritan power under Cromwell shifted the social and literary ideals before the 1660 Restoration. We all know Cromwell means Oliver Cromwell. Which poem by Donne describes his wife as the whole world to him? The answer is The Sun Rising. She is all states and all princess I appears in. The Sun Rising, where the world is centered on the lover's bedroom. Who was the primary target of John Dryden's satire in Macflecknoe? And the answer is Thomas Shadwell. Dryden satirized his rival, the playwright Thomas Shadwell, as the insect heir to the throne of dullness. Question number 19. Which author wrote The Anniversary? And we all know the answer is John Donne. In this poem, he discussed classic metaphysical poem by Donne celebrating the endurance of love. What is the rape of the lock primarily mocking? The answer is the triviality of aristocratic life, and it is also based on his friend Arabella Farmer, if I am not wrong. Pope uses the mock epic form to mock the vanity and obsession with superficiality in 18th century high society. Question number 21. In Milton's Paradise Lost, Book 1, what is the name of the capital the fallen angels built? And we all know it is Pandemonium, built by Beelzebub. Pandemonium is the capital city of hell, built by the fallen angels in Book 1 of the Paradise Lost. Question number 22. Which literary movement emphasized the use of complex, startling metaphor known as conceits? And we discussed earlier metaphysical poetry. Metaphysical poetry is defined by its intellectual depth and use of elaborate, startling conceits. Question number 13. Which period is often referred to as the Age of Dryden? And we all know the answer is Restoration period. John Dryden dominated the literary landscape of the Restoration era in poetry, drama, and criticism. Question number 24. Who famously defined wit as nature to advantage rest. And we all know wit is famous by Alexander Pope. The definition of wit appears in Pope's influential work, An Essay on Criticism. Question number 25. What was the central ideal of the Puritan movement? The answer is simplicity and moral rigor. The Puritans advocated for moral discipline and spiritual purity, shaping the social ideals of the mid-17th century. Question number 26. Which work by Milton explores the temptations of Jesus in the wilderness? The answer is Paradise Regained. Paradise Regains is Milton's epic focused on the temptation of Christ, often viewed as a companion to Paradise Lost. Question number 27. Which poet wrote, "Had we but world enough and time, this coyness lady were no crime"? And this is the famous line of Henry Marvell to his coy mistress. These are the opening lines of his poem to his coy mistress. Which of these works is not by John Milton? And we all know The Pilgrim's Progress. It is by John Bunyan. What is the role of the sylphs in the Rape of the Lock? The answer is they act as guardian spirit to Belinda. Ariel and the other sylphs are supernatural beings tasked with protecting Belinda in Pope's mock epic. And the last question is so easy. Who is the author of Absalom and Achitophel? And the answer is John Dryden. And it is one of the most famous political satires in English literature, authored by John Dryden. So this is today's video. Hope you like it, and please subscribe my channel for more videos.